In this video, I'll be covering question 3, part D from the 2019 AP Calculus AB free response no calculator allowed portion of the test. If you want to see A, B, C, and D, I cover them each in their own individual videos, so go back and check those videos out to see the rest of the answers. So here we're looking at just a pretty straightforward limit problem. So we have the limit as x approaches 1 of 10 to the x minus 3 times f prime of x all over f of x minus the arctangent or the tangent inverse of x. So I always tell people option 1 on any limit problem is to just go ahead and plug that value in for all the x's you see. So everywhere we see an x in this limit, we're going to go ahead and plug that in. So we would get out 10 to the first minus 3 times f prime of 1 all over f of 1 minus the arctangent or the inverse tangent of 1. So finding these pieces, we want to kind of break them down. The first part is pretty straightforward. 10 is just going to be 10 minus 3 times, and when we're talking about a derivative is the slope of the graph. So we want the slope at x equals 1. So if we go over and look at our graph, x equals 1 would be right here. And so we need to find the slope at that position. This is where I always tell people rise over run. If you can keep yourself remembering that basic idea for a slope, that's going to be the easiest and quickest way to kind of find a slope on a problem without having to do your standard y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 game. So if we do our rise here, this is a rise of 1, 2. So we get a rise that's equal to 2. We get a run that's equal to 1 over. And so real quickly, we can see that the slope on that would have been 2. So we pop in 2 right there. Then the next part of this wants f of 1. So this is now not talking about the slope. This is actually asking us for the y value at x equals 1. So we've got that dot on the graph. The y value that goes with it is 1. And then on the bottom here, we're going to get minus the arctangent of 1, which is going to end up giving us, this is back to your unit circle game, right? So arctangent of 1, that's really, I like to think about it as tangent inverse of 1. So we're looking for the angle here. That's the answer. You would think about it as theta. So when we're talking about arctangent, you also need to know that arctangent lives in the first and the fourth quadrant. So it lives between pi over 2 and negative pi over 2. We want a positive one, so we know that the angle we'd be looking for would end up being in the first quadrant. If you're looking for a negative value off of arctangent, that would be down here in the fourth quadrant. So from that, we want to know, okay, which of our special triangles are going to have 1 as the tangent value. So we're looking for the one that has the tangent, the TOA. The opposite over the adjacent is equal to 1. And this is going to come from our pi over 4, our 45, 45, 90 triangle. You have to know your two special triangles, your 30, 60, 90, and your 45, 45, 90, like the back of your hand. This would be 1, 1, square root of 2. So from here, we can see that pi over 4, the opposite of that is 1, and the adjacent is 1. So the opposite over the adjacent, that would equal 1. So we know that the angle we're looking at for this would be pi over 4. Because remember that what you're looking for is you want to know tangent of pi over 4 equals this value here, equals 1. So then the bottom on this would equal pi over 4. And then from there, you could do a little bit of cleanup. They don't really ask you to clean up a lot. It's interesting because like usually in your class, they want you to super simplify this. But on the AP Calc test, on the non-calculator allowed section, you just want to do the top. This would be 10 minus 3 times 2 would be 6. So we end up with 4 over 1 minus pi over 4. And that's as far as you would want to take this problem. So you'd basically, this is just a 1-pointer. You'd get 1 point for getting out that final answer right there. And you'd be done. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, please click that like button and subscribe. And also share it with your friends and anyone else you know who might be crying about an upcoming AP Calc test. You can find more videos from me, more sample AP Calc questions, and my complete AP Calc study guide over at my website, apcalcprep.com. Have a great one.